Thank you for listening to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Please support the show by subscribing to and leaving a 5-star rating for the show on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and any of your favorite podcast platforms. You can also support the show by going to our website, blackandgoldhockey.com, where there's always exciting articles by the B&G writing staff. While you're there, don't forget to click on the fanatics.com banner for a great sports fan shopping experience.
Hey, you done yet? We gotta start the show.
Behind the net to Sanderson, to Orr! Bobby Orr! Orr from the Boston Bruins!
30 seconds left in the period. The Bruins are shorthanded. Ray Bourque.
Ray Bourque from the face-off circle to the right of Reggie Whitman. Fired it down and Whitmore blew it. Did he ever? To Bergeron on the drive, save, rebound, he's loose, Sagan kicks him loose, Bergeron scores! The Priest Bergeron, with the point of the dagger in their throats, they rip it out into Orr's hands and kill the beast! The Boston Bruins have won it after being 3 down in the third!
Hey, Heather.
Hey, Mark.
How's it going?
It's going all right. I'm having a great week. How about you?
Not bad. It's been kind of a, one of those weeks. But guess what?
What's that?
We got Boston Bruins hockey to talk about, bitches.
Yes, real hockey.
Here.
It happened Saturday. I shed a little tear. I always get the goosebumps. It was very exciting. I'm so happy. And you had an adventure to Providence, so we got a lot.
Oh my God, it's been a hectic weekend. Lots of ups and downs, but whatever. We're here to talk about hockey and actual game. An actual game that the Boston Bruins played. The off season, the preseason is over. We're now involved in the 2021-22 regular season schedule for this Boston Bruins team, and I can't be more excited. This is just amazing, and we'll talk about the game, and we'll talk about everything else later on. It's all Bruins here all the time, but let's start the show on a positive note. The Black and Gold Hockey Podcast is powered by BetOnline.ag and in partnership with Black and Gold Production Sports Media Company. This is Season 6, Episode 249, and we kindly ask that you please subscribe to our weekly Bruins Hockey Talk on all worldwide audio podcast platforms and video content on our related Black and Gold Podcast YouTube channel. We would certainly appreciate all the support on all our social media avenues, but yeah, we're here. We're talking bees. We love it. Thank you for all the support over the off season. It's truly appreciated. We've been rocking 2-hour programs for the last, I don't know how many damn weeks that we couldn't, most shows can't find things to talk about, but not here. We dig deep and we find the related news and we bring it to you on a consecutive 2-hour program. Might go a little long. Might go a little short this week. Who knows? But I'm proud of that. And before we do that, let's talk about show sponsor BetOnline.ag. We're back and better than ever. A new web interface for the start of the basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all your basketball and football action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code CLNS50 to receive your bonus. That's CLNS50. From basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline.ag is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. That's right. We are sponsored by BetOnline.ag and absolutely love those guys. They are beauties. Go to BetOnline.ag. Use the code CLNS50. It's hockey season. Get in on the futures. You can still get in on the Stanley Cup odds. You can get on game props, player props, all kinds of stuff folks, and it's just awesome. And they have a great little area that you can click on to learn how to bet on hockey if you want, but please do it responsibly. And speaking of responsible, guess who's got the show agenda this week? Miss Heather Ingerson, because she is way more responsible than I am, because I'm all over the place. I'm all over New England practically. Jesus.
The agenda is the only thing I can control in my life, and it makes me happy because we have real things to talk about, a couple big things. But before we start getting into the very obvious things of Charlie McAvoy resigning, and I said Charlie McAvoy. I know how happy I am. I'm sorry. Okay, stay focused. Two former Bruins made some history actually on the 12th when the puck dropped for the NHL season. Danton Heinen, my little Heineken, and not for everyone, but those who love him much. And I can think of a handful of those. Scored the first goal of the season. When we were sitting here last week, do you think that Danton Heinen would have been the first NHL goal scorer of the season?
Not at all. But it did set Twitter ablaze, saying it figures we get rid of this guy, and he's ripping it up in other teams. So this good old hockey
found
Twitter.
A home in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, another black and gold. So go figure.
Yeah, there you go. That's where his safe spot is. And I don't know if you ever thought Teddy Donato's boy would become the first ever goal scorer for the Seattle Kraken, but good on you, Ryan Donato. You are in the history books, kid, one way or another. That's pretty awesome to be the first ever goal scorer for a franchise. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. And good for the kid, local kid, New England born, bred and whatever. It's good. It's really sad that he's been bouncing around organization to organization, been on waivers, this and that. But it's good that he found a home in Seattle, regardless if it was. That wasn't an expansion pick, was it? I think it was a signing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, possibly a PTO or whatever, and then turned into a contract. So good on him. Starting off with a brand new. I mean, how fresh slate can you get, Heather? That's a brand new franchise.
Exactly. And you know what? Maybe it's his time to shine, baby. You know what I mean? This whole time. So anyways, congratulations to them. And also, happy birthday to Willie O'Ree and Jake DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk had a good weekend. He had a big game on Saturday and a happy birthday on the Sunday. He turned 25 years old. The kid's growing up, and he seems to have found his groove back. How Jake DeBrusk got his groove back. That's all I keep thinking, and he did, and he looks great. And happy birthday to him and Mr. Willie O'Ree, I believe 86 years old, or young as I should say, because that guy is just, again, a hero of two countries. I always say it, and out there doing his thing. So happy birthday to Bruins, former Bruins this weekend, our current Bruin, Jake DeBrusk. Oh my God, he's having a weekend. We'll talk about Jakey boy a little later. Yeah, I love him so much, and I'm so happy that whatever. Let him have the week, people, before you jump all over me.
I know.
Okay, just
funny.
let him have his weekend and his good preseason and whatever you will. So anyways, I guess the news of the week is Charlie McAvoy's going to be a Bruin forever and ever, and I love him so much, and I'm so excited. Mark, when you saw Charlie McAvoy had signed an 8-year, $76 million contract with the Boston Bruins, broke it down, and a lot of money and a lot of signing bonuses over the next 8 years, what did you think to yourself? Because I thought, whoa!
I kind of had a feeling that the deal was going to get done, but I didn't think it was going to be the day before the season actually started. That was a bit surprising. I was more or less going to be like the type of person that was going to think, maybe this could be a January thing, February thing, get the player amped up for being a Bruin for a long term. But no, they got it done right before the season started, which was perfect. And I don't hate the deal. I really don't hate the deal because his qualifying offer was going to start at 7.3 anyway. Mm-hmm. So he's getting a 2.2 bump realistically. So that's not too bad for a player like him. He's going to be a Norris candidate for several more years, probably in all 8 of his years coming up. I don't hate the term like a lot of people do. There's a few folks out there that say you should have gotten more money, less in the longevity of the contract, but I don't think that's a very smart idea when the cap's really not going up that much higher, like $1 million in the next year. But it is going to go up sooner or later. Those have been projected by Elliot Friedman and Jeff Marek and so on, that we could even see a $5 to $10 million bump soon. I think that's when all these TV deals and all these gambling sites and everything, those advertising dollars come more relevant and so on. So there's more money to spend, and the player escrow kind of goes down a little bit. I'm not too privy on the details of what's going on with the CBA and how they talk cash, but hey, I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, this guy's the type of player you build on, and it seems to me that the Boston Bruins are more or less in a transition mode. I mean, we're getting some older players that are probably going to be retiring soon. Hate to say it, but we also need to get players more involved in us throughout our system and so on. But this is the type of player that you can lean on for that leadership and so on. And I think that having him for 8 years is going to be awesome. And learning from the guy like Zdeno Chara it's just a stepping stone. He passed down his knowledge to Mac, and Mac's probably going to do the same within that 8-year time frame to somebody else that's coming up the system, maybe a Mason Lowry, who knows. But it's going to be great to see, and I'm happy to have Chucky Bright Lights back in the Boston for the foreseeable future.
I agree with you that I didn't think it was going to happen that quick. It was interesting, and we'll talk a little about Neely and Sweeney had pressers last week before the season started. But Sweeney seemed to be like, I don't know, sometimes. I don't really, whatever Don says, I'm just like, okay, grain of salt, love you, but I'll see what you do when you do. But Neely definitely sounded like it was a lot closer than Sweeney was still tipping his hat to. But I did not think that meant 7 hours later or whatever. I don't know. It was probably a day and a half later. But everyone who, I'm sure it's none of the people who listen to this podcast, because everyone who listens to us are totally rational Bruins fans. But there are actually people out there, and I think Dom Tiano outed somebody on Twitter yesterday, that think this contract is a bad contract. Listen to me, people. For the 3 people out there that might believe this as well. This is the hometown discount. He's going to be an $11.5 million defenseman in 3 years. He's going to be a $12 million defenseman in 4 if he wins the Norris Trophy. This is the new 6.6 or whatever for Pasta and whatever. And just so you know, Pasta's going to get his money on his next contract too.
Yep.
Even if it isn't 8 years, he's going to make some bank because he'll have earned it because the market was set with Seth Jones. And after that, and then Brady and them all got signed over this week, and you knew. And like you said, at least they kept him closer to the qualifying offer because Charlie McAvoy could have asked for a fucking bazillion dollars a year. And you know what? The Bruins would probably say it, but this cements him as the guy. You are the next guy. You, and obviously we talk about the cast of characters of Grizzlick and Carlo and all of them too, and Pasta. But we always have one defenseman that is the backbone of this team, our personality and what we do, and at least that's been tradition for a very long time in this organization. And Charlie McAvoy, you just got anointed, buddy, so here's to being healthy and finish growing and winning a lot of Norris trophies and bringing the cup back to Boston at least one more time. If it's not this year, just any year in this 8-year contract. But that being said, now you got to earn it, Charlie McAvoy. Don't make it be so in 3 years people can hate you in your contract. But even if he stays at the level he's at, $7 million or whatever plus for Charlie McAvoy is a deal. And just be grateful that Charlie McAvoy loves here so much. He loved going to BU. That's what spoke to him as a school, being a Boston Bruin. He's got a lot of these young guys kind of from here. He's kind of made his young life here, and he's in for the long haul, and I love it. Here's to him being the next Zdeno Chara or Ray Bourque or whoever, staying here forever and making sure this team doesn't fall apart, right? We're always competitive. We've had some years we're not, and it's really ugly. Sometimes it's more in our own heads than actually is because we're Bruins fans and our expectations are so high. But yay, Charlie McAvoy, I love him so much. I love him. You know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just to wrap this up a little bit, not to rush this conversation at all, but what I do like about it is there's so much more to grow on Charlie's game in this time. He's definitely going to mature out to be, a really good defenseman. I'm not saying he's terrible right now, but just wait and see what he gets better and how he absorbs the pressure and being leaned on as a leader of this team now. Because I honestly believe that if he wasn't well respected in the room, this deal wouldn't go a full 8. They want this guy around to be that guy that, that future's in a shower, like we both mentioned it previously. So it's really good. It's not just a lot of people just criticize his play and so on and goals and so on. I do not get on defenseman case when they don't plot 10 goals a season. That's that's few and far between on so many different types of defensemen that can be more offensive. Charlie's got the skills to be that type of guy. I think that he just needs to get the puck a little bit more. And have the team needs to have more trust in getting him the puck and so on, and being that mobile player along the blue line and on the half wall. So we'll see what happens. I think he's going to get a lot more responsibilities, and hopefully what they really want to do is I want to see him on the top power play, because I'm still not seeing him there. He's on the PP2, but things could change. It's only one game out of the season so far. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, Charlie McAvoy only has an upside. So everyone, like I said, you three irrational people out there that really think that this is a bad contract. No, what's a bad contract? The Erik Karlsson contract. That's a bad contract. This is not a bad. No, don't get me wrong. I love that dude, but let's say that did not go as planned for San Jose. You know what I mean? This is a good idea at the time. That's not happening here. He's a lot younger.
Contracts. The Erik Karlsson contract is reminding me of a different position, but obviously it reminds me of the Rick DiPietro contract on, just way too much money for way too long.
Yeah, sure. You know how I feel. I don't really like more than 5-year deals, but I really love Charlie McAvoy, so I'll accept this 8-year deal for him. But his first year, which obviously also I think some people don't understand that it doesn't kick in this year. He still has a pay that he's getting for $4 million this year. Next year is when it kicks in. But the first year he gets $6 million, and then it's 3, 2, 5 in signing bonuses. So it's broken up very interestingly, and then he's got the heavy for the next 3 years after that, and then it goes back down to 6, 3, 4, 4, progressively. So
Heather, when you look at those numbers that you just read off, okay?
I don't remember where I saw it. Probably Elliot Friedman or something.
Yeah, okay. All right. But the ones...
I don't remember, though, to quote me, but go ahead.
The ones you just read off, think about that, okay? So he's going to get a $26 million signing bonus, but his actual pay is low, and low, right? And then it goes high, high, high.
No, it's 6 and then 3, 2, 5 mil in signing bonuses the first year. Then it's 775 plus 325 in signing bonuses, and then it's 8.5 for 2 years after that. But then it drops to 6 plus signing bonuses.
Okay,
and the signing bonuses also get less, in conjunction.
So my thing is you can.
So it's definitely the top 4 years is the heavy part of the contract.
Right. What I'm trying to say is you can look at that and project on when the Bruins think that they're going to see a real jump in the salary cap.
Oh yeah.
Like when the league cap goes up, you can basically say that that's going to be with the general area where like teams and organizations are probably projecting that everything is going to go up and up and up, like that 5 to 10 million I talked about a little earlier.
Well, even if not, though, you had to pay him that. Do you know what I mean? Because
first
year, the way it evens out, like you said, that we know next year the salary cap is not moving very much if it does at all. Because like you said, you have to give it a year to get all the money lucrative coming in from all the new switch to TV and stuff like that. And we'll talk a little about that later. But it also makes sense just because of his age. Now, he's not as old as I think a lot of people think he is, because he's been around since he was so young. He's just like Jake DeBrusk. You've seen him a lot, or Brandon Carlo, but they're getting older, but they're not old by any means. They're still only in their mid-20s, and they have long years ahead of them. But it makes sense, he's going to hit that sweet spot of age where defensemen just kind of blow up and really have their sweet years. It's also, I think, in line with him getting paid. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you haven't quite shown us the upside, this and that. But overall, this contract I can't be mad at. Absolutely not. And anybody who is, I think, needs to maybe take a minute, do some meditation, take a breath,
Smoke something, possibly.
Smoke something, engage in a little beverage, and like really think about this.
Relax.
Because this is a steal. This is one of the, this contract, despite what you may think, continues the tradition of other teams going, how the hell does Don Sweeney / Boston or whoever do this? How do they convince these superstars that can get $10 million to start plus signing bonuses to stay, what isn't? It's because they're awesome. I mean, it's Boston Bruins.
But let's be realistic, Heather. And you're a podcast junkie just like me, and you probably heard a lot today over the weekend on the podcast after that signing on Friday. This might be kind of the end of Don Sweeney's regime of sitting on top of the hill, looking down and saying, player, we need to be team first and not contract first. These team-friendly deals, I don't think are going to be relevant anymore. I think like when the next one you mentioned earlier, next one coming up is David Pastrnak. I don't think David's going to be like, oh, give me another $6 million. I love fucking winning here, but I love making lower than everybody else. That's not going to happen. So I kind of think that he can do it with certain players and evaluating their talent level and so on. But also when players are coming up that are really good, like Pastrnak, like Mcavoy, and the future, there may not be that team friendly kind of deal happening. They might want to get maximize what they can get with the salary cap going up.
Well, I think it's a matter of perspective, right? So maybe the situation is just what a team friendly deal is changing a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I think
that's fair.
I think in any city, though, you don't take a team-friendly deal if it's not a city that you love, a city you want to live in, a city where you feel like the team is supported by its community, things like that. Like one of the things I was on Saturday for opening night, seeing how our sports teams around here, they always congratulate each other, whatever. Each social media is always saying, which I thought was funny because the Celtics were the last ones to say, good luck, Bruins. I was like, don't we share a building? What did you do? But everything. Julian Edelman was in there what do you say? Stanley Cup season begins tonight. He loves the Bruins so much or whatever. So glad to see, even though he's retired, he's still yeah, let's get it on, Boston Bruins. Let's do it. But I think you got to have that environment. There are other teams that are out there that you think, why do these players want to play in these cities? It must be something about the city and the atmosphere, and that is one thing that isn't changing because the culture is kind of set, right? And as long as, like you said, it's passed down to Bergeron and Chara and Bergeron are passing it down, and then these boys really stay with it and pass it down like you could. I think it's a matter of people changing their perception of because when Pasta comes up for his deal and he can make $10 million, but he only takes 8.5, that is the team-friendly deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I think people need to get used to because we've talked about it. The newer players don't care about team-friendly deals. Since they were 12, someone told them they were going to be NHL superstars and make their money, and that's what they're trying to do. Obviously, they had to do all the grind and the work to actually float to the top of the creme de la creme, but that being said, when Marner signed and all these kids, that set the standard of the new way to look at things. If you can get the big contract, whether you deserve it or not, you sign that and just do it. And maybe not in a malicious way. It's just this generation was raised to be sports business people and have a brand and be out there, so, and that's fine. Get your money on. I all day long think athletes should be able to have sponsorships and stuff independent of their actual contracts and stuff. But it'll be interesting. But Charlie McAvoy definitely got anointed the new leader of this team when Bergeron's gone. So
one more thing real quick. We need to stop with the narrative of how can you pay a player more than Bergeron and Marchand and so on and Pastrnak. We need to stop that. They do not go in the locker room and have any animosity. They look at each other like, oh, you son of a bitch, you're making more than me. It's not like that, folks. And I can't stand when people do that. Why do they give him more than Bergeron? Bergeron's heart and soul. It's it's really, they don't do contracts. It's not one of those matches when you throw it up on the table and see, who's winning the race. Come on, it's just. I understand the fandom and so on. Everybody loves Bergeron because he's an awesome person, and Marchand's the little rat that everybody hates. But there's still, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not. All right, I think it's time we get into it. Boston Bruins hockey and Providence Bruins hockey. We're going to go Big B's first. Saturday, October 16, 2021. We won 3-1 versus the Dallas Stars. That was our home opener and the season opener. Why we have to start 4 days after everyone else, we'll get into that later. We don't know, but big win. Brad Marchand having an interesting night, scored on a penalty shot, and then Jake DeBrusk had a beauty. I am loving this third line. I love them. I want to hug you and kiss you because you're so awesome. And then again, Marchand from Pasternak scored it in an empty netter. And the boys won in the third period. It was like a little iffy. I wouldn't say that they played all 60 minutes necessarily. They had a little pockets, but overall, hello, boys. Nice to have you. All the Goosies of opening day were there. Jeremy Swayman stopped 27 shots, and I think his save percentage was like 9.62 or something like that.
Good start.
But, yeah, good start. And, anyways, Boston Bruins are back. All the Feelies were there, Mark. I know you were busy in Providence, so I'll give you a quick recap of what was happening in the pregame ceremony. All the Goosies you expect. The Garden was loud, super loud. So happy for all of you that were in the building. I was living vicariously from you. I mean, Todd sang, get the chills. I love when they introduce all the players and everyone was yelling. And when everyone was yelling for Jake DeBrusk, I got extra happy because, I love me the DeBrusk. And I know he's got to, whatever's got to be whatever, but I just love that the fans seem to be back on his side a little bit. And it was pretty awesome. So any thoughts on yay home opener, winner?
Yeah. It was. I watched the highlights. I was unable to watch this game because I was in Providence. We'll talk about that later. But it was good to see that the Bruins really, really hammered Dallas with the 40-28 shot advantage throughout the game. Really want to see that more often from all players, defensemen and forwards this year. Is just get it on net, create opportunities, and do it often. Go by the Craig Smith method of as soon as you touch it, shoot it. I don't care if you're 200 feet away. Give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Ray Bourque did it from 170 feet.
Yeah, just toss it down there.
Exactly. But one thing that we did talk about in the pre-show, Heather, was that you had a little bit of concern about the penalties and how many of there were. So, but it was the penalty killing obviously did their job. But let's not put an emphasis on too much of an emphasis on that type of special teams. A lot of the times, we don't want to go to the box. We don't want to get stupid penalties.
Too many men on the ice. We've already got too many men on the ice penalty.
So sick of that. Couldn't
you stop doing that like second year Pee Wee at most? Like at the latest, like that just seems like a. Sorry.
Jake DeBrusk and that third line. I'm so happy for Jake. I mean, he's really. It's one game. I get it, but a solid preseason, and just gets it done in game one with a really nice cast of characters and two new people in Eric Haller and Nick Foligno on either along the lines with him. I think there's going to be some really good magic on that third line, and also the second line I thought looked decent. With Charlie Coyle there as your predominant second line center for now. We'll see what happens with that, but obviously Jay Sway. I thought that Allmark was going to get the start. I know that I was kicking and screaming a little bit, and it's not saying I'm not saying I hate Jeremy Swayman. I never say that. I would never say Jeremy Swayman. I'm a Jay Sway guy. All right.
All the way.
But what I'm saying is, you just go with the trends of the goaltending. If you signed a goaltender, usually you give him that thing. And I do not put any emphasis on how somebody did in preseason and earning the first game. Sorry, I'm not on board with that. I just thought that, it should have been Allmark, but I'm a win guy. I'll support any way that we got a W. But I do expect that after one start that Jeremy Swayman is not going to go on this tear where Bruce Cassidy's going to give him like 20 games in a row and then filter in Allmark. I think it's going to be a very 50-50 split this season to kind of see what we have in Allmark and what kind of player he can be with a new structured defense in front of him and not the dumpster fire in Buffalo. So solid win. I wish I saw more. I just got the highlights and so on, but I'm happy to see that. everything just seems like it's coming into the fold a little bit with a little bit of chemistry and so on. And I like the way that I hope anyway that they get the consistency early and get ahead of everybody, because we all know that there's going to be those injuries that are going to hamper this team, and there's going to be call-ups. I'm not saying the call-ups are bad or anything like that, but to get ahead of everybody early is a little better for me than doing it later on in the season.
I think we're going to be seeing these lines for a while, and like you said with the goaltending, they've been saying the whole time it's probably going to be like a 60-40 split no matter how it happens. They've never once said, I agree with you. I would have thought Allmark got the start. It's not so much because he got the money, but because, like you said, usually the veteran goaltender, unless it's a horrendous preseason. I wouldn't say that Allmark had a horrendous preseason. I think he looks like he just needs a little bit more tune-up before he'll be all right. I heard, I don't know if it was like on, I don't know, whatever. Like you said, we listen to many hockey podcasts. It might have been the Sports Hub Hockey Show or something, but like he hasn't really worked with goalie Bob as much as they like to him have at this point and stuff like that. But you have to expect that in October, even into just November, they're going to be going kind of back and forth, even if that's 2-1, this and that, because they want them both to get their reps. They want to let them get the rest of the kinks out and see. I still hold, I think Allmark's going to be all right. I do have to say, though, I think that third line, for a long time our narrative was David Krejci needs some wingers, right? I think the hockey gods might have sent Jake DeBruska center and a winger. And the chemistry on that line, you got, Foligno, the veteran captain. You got Holla, who is, remember who you had said, we love David Krejci, but part with Jake DeBruska is he's moving so fast. Holla is perfect for him because he's flying. They look fast out there. Even overall, I would say our team we've had a lot of speed on our team, but we don't always look that fast, just consistently kind of rolling at you. And that you definitely saw Saturday. But that third line outshined the other lines. Fourth line had a little bit of roughness every night, but it's the first game, and given the situation, and Lazar's still out, and, I love Carson Coleman, but glad he got to have the start, but probably because of his experience, they're like, you know what, we're going to give you the nod here. Frederick, whatever, again, you've only had one sort of few games in a season to work out your stuff at this level. That'll be all right, and that will rotate anyways, that we discussed. I think I was joking, if it doesn't get better, Chris Wagner is going to find himself back being the right wing on the fourth line, but that third line, they shined.
Yep. And I have to agree with a couple of fans on Twitter. Believe it or not, it's crazy. But they said that, there's no pressure when Jake DeBrusk is on the third line, as he was on the second line, to create that secondary scoring and be that winger that, expectations. For me, through this preseason and the time that he's been with Holla and Foligno, I just think that it's a real nice refresher for him. It's no pressure on the third. I mean, of course, you're a freaking NHL hockey player. There is going to be pressures, but maybe not as much to be that guy all the time. I think it's going to work, and I'm really, really happy to see Jake happy, smiling, doing silly season stuff again. It doesn't look like he's talking to himself anymore when he's struggling and so on. It just seems like everything's really coming together, and hopefully a full 82 game schedule of Jake DeBrusk and what we're seeing is going to be something special.
Yeah,
and also shout out to Kevin O'Keefe of the blackandgoldhockey.com writing crew, the awesome writing crew over there. I love those guys. But he wrote an awesome article about that third line, and I thought it was really good. So he's spot on. Gave himself a pat on the back on the old tweet machine, saying that, called it, but, great article regardless.
Called it regardless. I was like, wasn't Kevin too? He's the one that willed Ryan Donato into scoring the first cracking goal. I was like, no, you're magical, man. You're magical.
He's Nostra O'Keefe.
Yeah, Nostra O'Keefe's. That's your new name. I just anointed you, Nostra O'Keefe's.
Oh God, he's gonna love that.
Okay.
He'll probably hit a freaking telephone pole on the way to work tomorrow after hearing that.
Oh God, don't do that.
Yeah, I know. Don't do that, Kevin. We need you.
On my conscience.
We need you, buddy.
Ooh, okay. Well, Boston Bruins, like I said, it was rocking market. The fans and just everyone was so damn happy, and everyone outside was happy, and everyone going in was happy, and happy times. But you were in Providence to watch some more happy times down there, and they had 2 games this weekend, and I'm going to shut up and let you talk about your adventures in Providence and talk about that first opener also on the 16th Saturday about 7 o'clock, but you were at the Dunk instead of the Garden.
Oh yeah, it was so good to be back in hockey arenas, seeing people interacting with the fans again. I got several DMs from folks that were in attendance and said, "Are you in the building?" And I said, "Yes, I am. Look up in the press area." And they were just like, "Dude, come down and see us. We'd love to say hello. We haven't seen you in so long." I haven't been up there. I haven't been to Providence since the middle of March of 2020 when the stupid freaking pandemic freaking hit. So it's been a real good homecoming. It was a very emotional night because it was also the first time that my buddy Alan Sullivan was not in the building taking pictures. So they had the Providence Bruins, the class act that they are, great American Hockey League organization, did a slideshow of some of the members that were lost in the previous year since we haven't been, back in the arena, and he was one of them. So that was a kind of a touching thing, but seriously, shout out to the Providence Bruins for doing that for my buddy. But also, AJ Kaweta was in the house, and he did the countdown to the double banner drop, double Atlantic Division champion banner drop. So it was really cool to see that, and really cool to see AJ. Standing ovation from the 8,000 that were in the building. The place was rocking, and it was just great to be back in Providence. But let's talk about a little bit about the action. By the way, I do want to give a shout out to my friend Matt Z. He's a B&G supporter for many years, but also the guy freaking gave me a ride from my hotel room in Seekonk, and we went and had breakfast, and it was awesome. And then he gave me a ride to the train station. We just sat there and shot the shit, talking about life, talking about hockey, talking about, just a bunch of shit, man. It was really good to catch up with him. So Matt Z, shout out to you, my friend. This time we got to don't do breakfast. I mean, I love breakfast and everything. I'm a 3-meal guy. You know me. But I also want to get together with this guy because he knows all the great places for breweries, like the Trilliums and blah, blah, blah. And, so I'm a beer guy and I love beer. So, and he loves beer. And also shout out to the Z family for loss of their a family member. Let's put it that way. And, still thinking about you guys during this tough time. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a good weekend. Especially the home opener. Just like I said, it's great to see everybody. Shout out to the Providence Bruins for having us as media members again this year. It was great to see Mark Diver in the press box. Great to see Austin Rook calling the game again. It was so much good. But the best part about the whole weekend was the Providence Bruins won the first game on Saturday, October 16th. They won 2-1 in a shootout. Newcomer from the WHL. No, maybe not. Maybe I screwed that one up. But Ty Lewington with the only regulation goal. And Jesper Froden got the shootout winner. So awesome on that. I thought the game was good. Chris Wagner looked good. Stednica looked good. Curtis Hall looked good. Troy Grosnick, he was really good in the first period, but I think that goodness got him in a little bit of trouble because he ended up leaving the first period with a lower body injury. And Kyle Kaiser came in and basically shut the door, making all the saves, including a bunch of ones in the shootout. So good win, good solid effort in the first game of the season, and so good to be back. So good to say that again. Yeah, we're going to 72 games this year and not a 25-game schedule against two division rivals, but we are opening it up. We have 8 teams we're playing in this division now, and I'm super stoked about it. But then they played on Sunday, October 17th. The Bees lost in a shootout again, but 4-3. Jack Stednica got his first. Samuel Asleen got his first, and newcomer Chris Wagner got his first. So shout out to Chris Wagner on getting his first American Hockey League goal since the 2016-17 season. when he was with the Anaheim Ducks organization was the last time I believe that he was in the AHL and scored his last goal. But all those goals that I mentioned from Studnicka, Asselin, and Wagner were all in regulation, and that was it. They unfortunately lost in Hartford yesterday, but that's it. 2 games in the books for the Providence Bruins, and they are, they got some points. I mean, it's not so bad, losing and winning in a shootout. So still lots to build on. I'm going to actually sit down and do a little bit of some coaches stuff, some film and so on with Ryan Mujanal and what he said about the weekend, kind of put something together because I do have a project coming up. We're starting a new Providence Bruins hockey podcast that I'm going to be hosting by myself, just a quick half-hour kind of punch list on things that are looking good, things that are not looking good, and so on. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity, but I will have coaches and player interviews involved in that, so kind of stoked. So look out for that. We will talk more. We do have the show artwork done by my buddy and longtime friend Thomas Nystrom of the Short Shift Podcast. He does tremendous work. So he got a new show logo. I'm going to show you later, Heather. I didn't want to put it online yet, but I'm pretty pumped about that. So yeah,
they were in Providence yesterday, right?
Where?
Something didn't they go to a game?
No, they went to the Hartford game.
The Hartford game, yeah.
Yeah, because Thomas and his wife Grace and the baby girl who got into their first game.
I saw their picture.
Yeah, she's been doing the baseball thing. Thomas has been teaching her how to do the baseball thing, and it was really cool to have her christened into the hockey world yesterday in Hartford, Connecticut at the XL Center to see a Providence Bruins game, and the whole family wore the black and yellow. So it was really cool to see, and the smiles. I mean, I love a kid that's just having fun and smiling away, so it's awesome. So shout out to the Nystrom family. Those guys are amazing. I love them both.
Well, I'm glad. I'll be glad to listen, as I'm sure others will, to see what you have to bring from news from Providence and such. And I'm sure you'll, expand a little on that as you go. But you're the guy. You're how I don't have to watch all these other people. I might watch Providence, but you're the guy that I go to know what's going on with all the other kids. So that'll be exciting. Can't wait to see when you launch that, and we'll pump that up, obviously. But anybody really stand out to you this weekend? The next thing is studs and duds like we always do. I understand it was only one game for the Boston Bruins, but I'd like to ask you, did you have any studs or duds for the Providence Bruins? You may have one for each game if you want, or just an overall. Or do you think, whatever, it was the first weekend. We're not doing it in a way to be on someone's ass when we say dud this week, but just did you not jump out? Did you kind of underwhelm?
You know who really jumped out to me this weekend was Brady Lyle.
Yeah.
He was on the top defensive. He was the defenseman on the top power play, and he was getting low. He was going behind the net. I mean, the guy was just using all 200 by 85 in the first game, and he also played very well in the second game. He just really engaged in the offensive push. Getting it out of the zone, good puck possession. I was just real impressed with him. Another player, Jack Studnicka, looked really good. He's very positive down in Providence right now. Not taking the demotion to heart, just willing to do what it takes to work hard and so on. So those two I would give the stud. I would actually throw in Kyle Kaiser too, because Kyle got into a tricky situation with Troy Grosnick going out of the first period on Saturday's game, and I thought he was just real solid throughout the whole weekend. Unfortunately, they lost in the shootout, but it is what it is. But he just was standing on his head. So there's a couple of studs that I want to talk about. Some duds on the Providence Bruins. I don't know. I just it's too early to really tell. I wasn't overly thrilled about Wagner's game in game one, but he came around and really played and really pushed hard in game two. So I would think I'd give it to Wagner for this, this time. But I'm sure that moving forward, he's going to get more accustomed to his surroundings and playing level, and play a lot better.
Well, yeah, because he's been on the same team since he came in in 2016 or whatever, and now, he's got to get his bearings too, and maybe get the drive to try and get himself back up with the Boston Bruins. But if not, even though he's had a rough start, I think that him being down in Providence is a good lesson for the kids down there, and also just he's been around, you know what I mean? He can tell them what it takes to maybe get up there to be a fourth liner and whatever. I mean, sure, he's fighting to have his spot back, but, having kind of that guidance, I guess, I think is important down there. I did not get to watch the Providence games, but I do have to say on the Boston Bruins, I definitely think that I wish I could give them all a stud thing, but I just think I can't say it enough. I'm just really loving this third line, and it seems silly that that's the line that to be in love with after the first. First line looked fine, second line looked fine, but I really do think this line was outpacing everyone else around them in their first bit. Maybe that was adrenaline, you know what I mean? Maybe that was... I hope it's just the first step in the continuation of Jake DeBrusk getting his groove back, because if anything, he's worked hard, I think, and I think that I'd like to see him continued success, and I do think that, those two players, if injury barring, it's perfect set of all the tools you need to have a really effective third line. When we would look at Tampa or whoever and say their depth lines, well, this gives the Bruins a lot of depth. I wouldn't really give out any duds. I mean, I guess I would say Trent Frederick, not for any other reason than because he didn't do anything wrong. And like I said, I'm not getting on anyone when I say that. It's a grain of salt because it was the first game. But I do think, Scenes, you made the cut, kid. I'm going to need you to make the cut. That's just because now you're in a different tier. They chose you. You were picked. And now for all the people who want you to be there, and for me, just because if you're going to be there permanently, you know what I mean? And they're giving you your chance again, not just in a weird 56 game kind of way and we were in transition, but in a real way of we need you to play the role, we need you to roll kind of way. So I hope to see improvement for him just as he settles in and gets more comfortable. And, whatever, the fourth line's changed too. So the last time he was hanging around, it doesn't exactly look like it did, so that can account too. But like I said, that is in no way before anyone's like, oh, she hates Trent Frederick. But we've already established I'm indifferent about fucking Trent Frederick, okay? I just had to pick somebody because I told you that we were doing the segment, so I just didn't want to not answer the question that I threw out there to Mark. I know that you only got to see the highlights, but anything with the regular Bruins, I mean, Providence, I trust you on that, but I mean, whatever. We'll see after this week. We'll have 3 more games in and see what happens from there. But overall, very happy. Hockey's back.
Yeah, it's so good to be back, and it was. It's unfortunate that they had to start. I wish with the way the scheduling was working. I know we'll talk about it later, but the Bruins should have started on a Friday and then the Providence on Saturday. But anyway, it is what it is. But it sucks that I wasn't able to enjoy, because I do love whether I'm in the building or I'm watching at home or with friends at a bar. I get up for the first game, and I was kind of missing that when I was checking out the the Bruins tweets, because I have them on the notifications bell, and just seeing who scored and when they scored and the excitement and so on. It was pretty cool. So I'm just happy that hockey's back, and there's that.
Well, I had socks on, and my scarf was out, so I show up to work because I work at a restaurant. I have my scarf, and I have my sweater in my bag because, admittedly, it was 75 degrees and was a little ridiculous to have my sweater on. They're like, "You're not going to put that on." I'm like, "Oh, before the puck drops, I will have my sweater on. I don't care if I'm sitting there drenched in sweat. I am not watching the first game without my vintage sweater, but I have to have my scarf on either way. I don't care if it's 75 degrees out. My neck will take the thing. It's a weird fan thing, okay? It's just a weird fan thing, but it makes me feel better to have my comfy stuff so I can, as the game goes. But yeah, I'm I must have started watching. It was Behind the Bees was on, then Bruins Academy, then it was just on. Then it was the Faith, all seeing all the guys in studio and such, and things with Eric Russo or Sophia, whoever, things popping in. It was just 4 hours of pregame joy in my heart to turn around and just always see Bruin shit on TV just consistently. And also already, I already hate the local Boston sports takes on the Bruins. It's like they ignore them. Then suddenly on Friday, they remember that the Bruins play hockey in Boston. Now they want to have some of them want to have their expert opinions. Not all of them. I won't call them out. There's only one show that I particularly enjoy and think that they're just more of kind of like fans being not like they don't take themselves as seriously as some of the other people, but stop fucking pretending you're a hockey expert. You drive me fucking nuts. Don't tap in now. I'm not saying they don't know anything about hockey. I'm just saying shut the fuck up. Sometimes but I guess it's to be grateful, right, that they actually acknowledge something other than football's happening in this town or something like that. I mean, obviously it makes sense, the excitement with the Red Sox, because they are pushing for a championship or whatever they're doing. But geez Louise. All right, let's see. What do we have? Oh, we definitely can talk about one more thing before we have to go to our break here. But yeah, overall, great start. And the excitement I'm still pumped. I'm pumped just thinking about it. I'm pumped about hearing everyone screaming when Todd's back to pulling beers. No, I'm just kidding. Like, that's how I always feel. Like, he's like, what's up, guys? Okay, I got to go. There's a line forming out there. Everyone's socially distanced from me and the beers. All right, so we won. Providence had the split lot, but I just want to say, and we can talk about this for a minute or two, and I'll probably bring it in. I didn't say, but everyone shut up about the goaltending controversy, okay? These boys, the hug after. Did you see the
yeah? I saw that.
Swayman you could see him just like, come here, brother, come,
Yes.
And that is not rivals. That is teammates, my friends. Keep an eye on that, because they're our new tandem, at least for now, and probably the next 4 years. But it was a beautiful thing, because I think that genuine moment when you see that, like Allmark is just as happy as Swayman is right now for him. Like, he's not worried about him. He's not worried about Swayman taking his job. He's worried about, yay, good job, buddy.
Yeah.
And so
dude, that's just a solid veteran right there. That's character. That's character that the Boston Bruins probably invested a little bit of time in their scouting process, asking around. Trainers are popular people to talk to when you're trying to inquire somebody. Maybe they got in touch with, a Buffalo trainer and just said, hey, listen, what is this guy like? How is he in the locker room? Blah, blah, blah. And obviously Linus is on a team now that's so much better than the dumpster fire in Buffalo that he can excel at. So when you get his skills together and work a little bit more with goalie Bob and Mike Dunham, getting the systems in place, I think you're going to see a better goaltender in Allmark. And I think that this tandem, I'm still on board. I'm not calling it, but I'm not going to bet on it. But I'm still on board with the thought of this could be like a top 5 tandem in the league, challenging for a Jennings Trophy. But I still want to see I still want to see what Allmark can do. I know it's a little premature to say that without him getting the start in Game 1, but let's see what happens on Wednesday night when I believe that he'll get the game against. I don't have that up. Who are they playing?
The next game we're playing Philly at the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah, there you go. So let's see. That's going to be a lot of pressure right there. That's a $5 million pressure cooker right there, and an evaluator of where you're at. You were paid to be a starting goaltender. This is the type of game that we want to see you excel at. So it's good. It's good commodity to have those two already best friends and teammates and supporters of each other. Because if you always go into it thinking it's a competition and you're always fighting against each other, it's not going to work. But when you go in and you have the healthy competition and you support each other, it just makes that whole thing a little bit easier. You're a family now. You're just not a member on the team. Yeah.
And I was going to say it also, this is just like generally to allude back to like just, it's noisy here if you're a sports personality in Boston. There is never a shortage of someone to be all up in your shit about anything. You looked at somebody the wrong way. They can talk about that shit for 4 months. They won't let it go, and they'll find new ways to bring it up. I think that them having a healthy, like you said, like, yeah, there's obviously a little competition, but it's not like they don't know where they stand. He's the veteran goaltender that makes more money because he's earned it. and you're the young kid that will make you money, and you're awesome, and everyone knows you're the future, right, or whatever. Like, we thought it was Ladar, but the minute Swayman showed up, clearly the picture changed, and did the right thing by letting Dan go and have his time somewhere else to get his career going, continuing, or whatever, however you want to frame it. But that picture encapsulated a lot of, like, it doesn't, like, kind of, as long as between the two of them, they can get all the noise out. The noise about his Tuca maybe coming back. The noise about his Swayman, like the guy that should be the number one. We have had a 1A, 1B for so long. We invented the 1A, 1B situation in Boston. We are the model in which other goal tandems have been built for the last 8 or 9 years. So it's weird to me. But that's helpful because you know what? Swayman is a rookie, and we know this town, and we know the minute he has a bad game, and he will have a bad game, which is fine. People do. They're going to eat him alive. And I think it's good if you can learn to contain that sooner than later. And especially for a kid who is so calm in himself and like secure, comfortable. He's not, he's not worried that he's never going to get his starts. They know they're going to split it. However that goes, whoever it is gets 60, the other 40, the guy is going to be supporting them. And I think that's important. So I wish everybody would shut up and leave the goaltending thing. But every time you want to say there's a goaltending situation, I need you to take a snapshot of that snapshot and look at it and see the genuine, bondage of a team. That sounds weird, but from teammates. The other thing I just want to say is it's funny because I think, too, with Allmark is this is what people don't. Even all the people who hate Tuukka, what they don't really want to accept or whatever, is that they've been watching elite goaltending for a long, long time. So nothing is going to look as good as that. That is why when Swayman, who looks like he might be that next tier elite goaltender soon, or at some point, he's on his way, they don't want to admit that you've been watching such high-level goaltending for so long. Anything less is going to bother you. And you don't know it's because you've been watching elite goaltending because you've decided it hasn't been elite goaltending. But the truth is your eyes are having a hard time adjusting. It will be fine, okay? I just have to throw sometimes out with people with haters. Don't get me wrong. I can throw some hate too, but these boys are all right. It's not a controversy. All right, Guy, with that, I think we're at our mid-show break.
Okay. Let's hear from the awesome Bruce Sullivan from Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia. He's got some awesome stuff. Christmas is coming. I know I say it all the time, but if you want to give a loved one or just a diehard Bruins friend some autographed merchandise, it's unbelievable and great prices. Unbelievable prices. They're so low that we can afford to buy jerseys, which we're going to give away today. Today we're giving away this gorgeous Jerry Cheever's hand-signed jersey, fully authenticated right there, folks, by JSA, and all stitched and everything. You don't want to wear this to a game, folks. This is the type of thing that you want to go to blackandgoldhockey.com, click on the Fanatics banner, and buy yourself a jersey case so you can hang up in your fan cave or your office, kid's bedroom, annoy the wife with it and put it on the kitchen table. But no, this is serious. I mean, I got this from Bruce Sullivan.
Really do. Yeah.
No, I know, I am serious.
Put it in a container, seriously, because that's the kind of beauty of a thing it is.
Exactly. Hall of Fame inscribed, 1985. Beautiful, beautiful quality. All for $1. So we'll talk about that later on. But let's hear from the unbelievable Bruce Sullivan and all the great things that he has, Bruins related, hand signed, all fully authenticated. No bullshit here. We'll be right back, folks.
Hey, this is Bruce from Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia with our Black and Gold Memorabilia Moment of the Week.
Me neither.
We are extremely proud to have hosted two-time Stanley Cup champ Don Marcotte to our exclusive wholesale signing. And we've got Raymond Bourque, the captain himself, on November 6th. Stay tuned for some great memorabilia, jerseys, pucks, photos, and more from each of these Bruins legends. This week we're featuring exclusive memorabilia from two other Bruins legends, Terry O'Reilly and Jerry Cheevers. Check it out.
Terry O'Reilly is our Legend of the Week, and you can buy something from the Terry O'Reilly Legend Collection. First up, your choice of 8x10s. you can get the Madison Square Garden Shoe Fight inscribed, dual authenticated, or the Boston Beatdown dual authenticated with inscription. Your choice, just $29. Next up, the 11x14 versions of the Shoe Fight or Boston Beatdown, just $34. Or walk away with this beautiful special edition for just $99. Or this 11x14 version for just $49. How about a Terry O'Reilly signed inscribed puck for just $34? Or get the black style legend jersey with inscription, JSA authenticated, for just $89. Or the white version, JSA authenticated with inscription, for just $89. Hockey Hall of Famer and two-time Stanley Cup champ Jerry Cheevers is our Legend of the Week, and you can buy something from the Jerry Cheevers Legend Collection. Take home this black style JSA authenticated hand-signed Jerry Cheevers jersey with not one but two inscriptions, including Hall of Fame 85 and Stanley Cup 70-72 for just $79. Or choose the white version of the jersey, signed in silver, with the Hall of Fame inscription and the Stanley Cup inscription. Once again, just $79. Or take home a Stanley Cup 1970 commemorative puck for just $35. Or get a Bruins puck for just $35. Both come with the Hall of Fame inscription and are JSA authenticated. Take home the iconic JSA authenticated mask photo, hand-signed with the Hall of Fame inscription, yours for just $34.
For more information on our dozens of Bruins hand-signed pieces, check us out at our Facebook page, Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia, or email us directly at bostonsportsandmusic@gmail.com. And be sure to tune in each week right here to the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Let's go!
What's up, Bruins fans? We are back. We just heard from the unbelievable Bruce Sullivan, and he's from the Boston Sports and Music Memorabilia. Go check him out. Like I always say, go to the Facebook page and follow the page, and become a member of the group, because he does give away a ton of free stuff. Just for liking and sharing, you can go into a drawing, and he'll draw a name, and you win an awesome hand-signed prize. So definitely well worth following him and so on. And also, please, reach out by email. If he doesn't have what you want for your fan cave, or a present for Christmas, or a birthday gift, he can try and get it. But you got to reach out first and let him know. So we love working with Bruce, and he does a tremendous job with us. And this is a really good partnership that we have, because we also have jerseys that we buy. We buy a ton of shit from him to give away on a weekly giveaway. So go check him out. But we are back. We're talking Boston Bruins hockey. And Heather, where are we going from here?
Yeah, stay tuned to see if you win the Chivas jersey there, Patreon members. But I thought we'd get back to Neely and Sweeney both gave press conferences. We already talked about how they don't always line up, again, with the surprise McAvoy sooner than later, after all. But just a few things. Both definitely seemed like let the goaltending situation shake out. We want to see more from them before any of that, blah, blah, blah. Also, Tuukka Dor, he's in rehab, blah, blah, blah. But, Neely definitely said expectations are clearly high, and there's no need to change that. Even though we've got a new look to the team, there's new goaltending, everything else. The fact is, this is the Boston Bruins, and you're expected to be the Boston Bruins and hopefully get out of the second round. Sweeney made a comment that they're knocking on wood that they're really happy and healthy with the depth and where they've slotted the people. But that being said, they both said the bottom six still see where it shakes out. Currently, it looks like that third line is pretty solid. So that really probably is talking more to the fourth line. But like you said, if injuries happen or something, depends on what they'll do from there. And they kept just saying about we need to see more games, see how the chemistry works out one way or another. So that comes from the top of the management. So everyone else who wants to armchair GM, the actual GM and the president say,
Right.
Let's give ourselves a game or two. We've only had one game. It's been 20 days in one game or whatever the heck it is. Like it's a little ridiculous on that end. But I liked what I heard from them, especially about like they don't seem worried. I mean, I think they know they're probably in a lot better position this year than they were last year, and like you always say, you can't really make a judgment call till you see it in action. You can practice all you want. You can do the tape. You can have them ride bikes or whatever. But until you see what it looks like when they have to step up or shut up. And I think they looked all right game one. If they can keep that pace and just kind of what they got going. Any thoughts on that from the big wigs talking, who also know that shit has to happen this year, or maybe their jobs might still be under the microscope?
No, it's good to get some clarity on what their expectations are and so on. I think that what they did during the off season was solid. I mean, they weren't. I know I overused this, but I know they didn't go out and blow up the roster and get these unbelievable players and so on. But I think that they really did was identify certain needs that they need on the bottom six. Something that needed to be changed, and I think that they did that accordingly. But what I really liked about it is the versatility that the players can play. I mean, that's huge for me. With players that could play either center, left wing, or even the off wing, like Nick Foligno. But I like the direction that we're going in right now. I know it's just game one, but I think it's going to be a solid year. I'm still predicting that the Boston Bruins will definitely be in the playoffs, and we'll see from where they go from there.
Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, I haven't seen anything that makes me feel alarmed, not even the goaltending situation. Well, we better get our shit together because we're 7th in the Atlantic right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, who's first or second?
Oh, geez, why'd you gotta ask me that? Let me click.
Because you told me Buffalo was, wasn't it?
Your team Florida's first, okay? They're 2-0, but Buffalo is also 2-0. Okay, Toronto is third, Ottawa's fourth. Currently, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Boston, Montreal. So we're out of the playoffs as of Monday, the 18th of October. We're never going to make the playoffs. Just kidding.
I'm sure they're going to recover by Thanksgiving.
One game played. We're out. Currently, the Detroit Red Wings have a better record than we do. Just kidding. So, anyways, moving on that, I just wanted to say the big wigs say calm down, so everybody else should too. Well, no, this is what I think is funny is like Bruins fans always want to be panicking for something. I think I'm starting to think that my brethren are just always looking for a reason. That being said, I wanted to ask you, do you think they keep asking about Tuukka and Krejci just to be able to keep asking them about Tuukka and Krejci and starting to stir the pot? Because I'm pretty sure they've said the same thing. The door is open. We'll see what goes on with Tuukka's rehab. David has to do what David has to do. Once a Bruin, always a Bruin, yada, yada, yada. But I really am starting to think, is there really nothing else that you can ask Don Sweeney and Cam Neely? How often are you really going to get to ask them a question that isn't about Tuukka Rask or David Krejci? That being said, we love Tuukka and David, so good luck on that. But I'm just starting to think certain people just want to ask them so they can write an article about keeping the door open to get everyone worked up. But that's not even the tone in which they say it either. Like
I know, but it's just it seems like smoke and mirrors to me all the time. Like that's the way of them deflecting. Oh yeah, we're gonna leave the door open. Oh yeah, this could possibly happen. I just think it just feeds the narrative of there's always that possibility, even though that if you pay attention to Czech Republic hockey and you happen to have the intelligence to translate what they're saying from Czech into English, that David's very happy over there. He's playing pretty well. I mean, I haven't checked up on it lately. Yeah, but let's be honest, that's pretty much like an AHL team and league and so on. You're expected to be a David Krejci that's going to tear it up and so on. But you know what? It just seems like, his house is for sale. I'm not sure if it actually sold. And he's mentioned several times that he wants to be there for the full season. And December 12th, if he plays one game after that date in Europe, then he has to get on the waivers to come back into the NHL. So I still don't see it happen. And Tuukka Rask, on the other hand, has a better chance of returning, in my opinion, to the Boston Bruins roster than David Krejci. But then again, we're all gonna wonder what Tuukka's gonna be like because it's a goaltender with hip surgery. I've never had the hip surgery. I'm not a doctor, but I can guarantee it's probably not easy to recover from when you're playing an aggressive position like net, up and down all the time and so on. But if he recovers and the team feels, and doctors obviously, but the management feel comfortable, and in addition, and if things aren't working somewhere else, either Allmark or Swayman, you have to consider him to come back because he's already well versed in the organization. He's got career numbers here, and he's earned the trust. But then again, if you think about it, and I know we've beat this drum to death, if Swayman and Allmark are going to that Jennings Trophy kind of bar that we're thinking that it could happen, I don't think Tuukka is going to be involved in this, and I know they're not going to ride a three-headed freaking horseman.
I think that it's just interesting because who cares either way? Like, they're leaving the door open. They've said that 42 times in the last 3 months, okay? So why do we have to keep talking about it? Now, if something changes, if there's, like, rumors that Tuukka Rask has been, well, actually there was. It was like he was seen at the Garden. I mean, at the Warrior Ice Arena working out. Yeah, but not with the team. He was, like, you can actually rent ice time, and it would make sense that the Boston Bruins probably are seeing it through no matter what happens on his recovery and whatever, as he has done a member. Pretty sure they probably still pay his insurance, had been paying his insurance for a while there and gave him the money. He can continue having it. I just, like I said, what's the big deal? Who cares if they're leaving the door open or they're totally closed on it? It just seems like a fucking over-asked question, and, like, there are bigger things that you could ask them. Like, it's just annoying me. Move on, okay? Now, if you want to talk about David Krejci trying to sign waivers to come back and maybe play for the Bruins if he doesn't obviously get snatched up by 31 other teams who wouldn't just snatch him up so the Bruins couldn't have him, then we'll talk. But until then, please, media people who can actually have access to these people, ask them more pertinent questions than that. All right. Well, Leo Boyden passed away, Hall of Famer, former Boston Bruins captain, passed away yesterday or the day before. He played 12 seasons for the Bruins. He was a captain from 63 to 66. He played over 700 games with us, and he played on a few different teams, but he played over 1,100 NHL games. Hall of Fame, class of 86, I believe, and just, one of those old-time hockey guys that just stand-up people. No one seems to have anything but awesome things to say about him. He lived a nice, long life to the age of 90, but just wanted to say thoughts and prayers with his family at this time. And the good life. After he played, he went on and he coached, I think, maybe in the OHL. I can't remember exactly, but anyways, long-time Bruin and Hall of Famer, so got to give him his due right now on this podcast. Mark, any thoughts or comments on the passing?
Yeah, it's too bad. We give our thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of Leo, and he's a solid Ontario native, and who knew a 5'7", 177-pound forward could be a Hall of Famer in these days, or even back then. So. Never judge a man's size when it comes to on the ice efforts, and it goes back to then when hockey was like barbaric, you know what I mean? It was like it was crazy back then. I still watch videos. I still watch videos on the NHL Network when they do the old black and whites. Wow, holy crap! Did they get away with a lot of shit back then? So. If you were an undersized player back then and you could still be competitive in a league that you're probably going to get hacked a lot, then good on you for a Hall of Fame career. But it is too bad. It doesn't matter who passes away in the hockey community, particularly in the Bruins organization or the alumni. But we do, thoughts continue to be with these people that knew him. Most and obviously the family members that survived. So
All right, that's that. Just wanted to mention it. All right, so what's up with the gap? We started 4 days later than everyone else, and then we don't even play again until Wednesday the 20th. And then later in the season, all they're doing is playing games, which personally I like because the Bruins are at best when they just hit that sweet spot and ride it on and through. They've had a little disruption that 2 seasons ago, and then it was the shortened season and the transition kind of season, hopefully the only transition season. And I don't know, just like I'm annoyed by it. I mean, whatever, they'll play, right? It's just with a weird season, it seems strange to me. You wouldn't want the Bruins, the Rangers, the Chicago Blacks filling up your first few weeks, Meanwhile, poor Dallas had to play us on Saturday, and they played yesterday. I don't remember where they went, but they did have a back-to-back, and that doesn't seem fair when the Bruins had 8 days off on either side of their one game.
I don't know, Heather. The schedule is just maddening with me because after the preseason game, they didn't have another contest, a regular season or another preseason game for 10 days. And then you go Saturday, they beat the Dallas Stars convincingly, and then 4 days off, and and what's the count? What's the count after Wednesday? Isn't it like a couple more days?
Yeah,
2 days. Hey.
Friday, Sunday. Yeah, it's getting
okay. So now it's starting to get a little better, but
every other day for the rest of the week.
I know. I totally agree on the spacing and so on, but logistics might have a big thing about that and where to play and times and so on, and who's occupied in certain arenas and where you could go. So the schedule must have been a pain in the ass when it comes to that, but it just sucks. It almost seems like the league hates the Bruins.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes, are you trying to?
Yeah, it pisses everybody off.
They do. They hate us. That's fine. But I just wanted to, I'm not as annoyed as some people are with it, but I just think that's weird if you're trying to condition professional athletes that you would give them that kind of thing. I'm just saying it's the early times. I don't think that anybody, not only just Dallas, should be playing back-to-backs in the first week and shit like that. So that's just my own personal thoughts, but whatever. Well, you already alluded to it. Let's talk about the upcoming games. Wednesday, at 7:30, we're playing Philly at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. They went to an opener there, I think last or whatever. I have no idea in the Metro. Again, everybody's only played a handful of games or one, depending. Friday the 22nd, we're going to the Buffalo Sabres at the KeyBank Center. Hopefully we can beat them. I don't know. They're on fire, man. They're like 2-0, and they might just roll their way into the Stanley Cup at this point. I don't know. It's a new world order. Maybe, thank God they got rid of all that baggage and sent it to Boston and everywhere else in the
listen,
league.
Heather, they're playing so good, Jack Eichel might come back and play.
Yeah, he's feeling you know what?
This
I'm
team's
happy.
good again. I don't have a neck problem. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was joking. Oh, I thought we were pulling Kucherov. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean to joke. He's hurt. That wasn't funny.
Heather's actually breaking news for the first time on the B&G Hockey Podcast that Kucherov is out indefinitely with an injury, and this is serious. We're not kidding.
Serious. I don't mean to joke. That's why I was saying. My bad. That was bad karma because the dude is really fucking hurt, and I do like Cooch, so I don't want you to think that it was just being poking fun more than being mean. I swear to God, but that sucks. But obviously now the running joke is until the playoffs start, and then he'll be back.
Exactly.
But in all seriousness, that's a huge he's hurt, man. See what's happening with that. And then Sunday, October 24th, I'm just mentioning it now because who knows when we will be recording within that time frame. 1 o'clock versus San Jose at home. San Jose, I think, has only played a game themselves. Yeah, they won their first game. They, too, have only played one game, which seems weird. But we'll see what's up. We'll see what's up this week. Things will start really heating up. You can't tell where you are. Hopefully we don't stay in 7th. Hopefully next time we talk, we're not in 7th place with our 100% winning percentage. But yeah, those are the upcoming games. Any thoughts, concerns? I'm still at the point where it's the games are just getting started.
I'm just ready. I'm actually, this is what I like about the weekday games is I can sit down and engross myself into the action because I don't have any commitments elsewhere, like in Providence on the weekends. So, I'm excited, but I wish it was tonight. I wish it was tomorrow, not Wednesday, but
Yeah, me, I got to work. But being at work also means, though, I control the TV. I said, listen, I feel the
Control the agenda, control the ATV. What else?
I said the way this works is it's like the driver controls the radio. The counter girl controls the TV. So I may let you watch something else, but if there's any NHL that can be on the TV, that's going to happen in my world, especially now it's on TNT and ESPN. And at work, I have all my choices of what I want to watch.
It's awesome. I got a hockey nutcase just like myself on the podcast.
I just like, I like watch, and even if can't even watch it, it just makes me happy when I do get a second to like.
Peek up at it. You can hear it. You can hear the action. Yeah.
Like, oh man, like I used to always say, I'm like, why am I getting blacked out? Maybe I want to watch the Ottawa-Toronto game. Like, why should I be punished because I live on the wrong side of the border? Or even before, it'd be like, but should I get blacked out of the Colorado, Vegas game? Because I don't live anywhere near Colorado or Vegas. I know this because I've driven to Colorado. It takes 2 days. It takes almost a whole day on a train. And if I walk there, it would take me like 3 months. So don't you think you could maybe broadcast that for me? All right. So that being said, any more comments on that? I don't really have anything. I just want to see how it shakes out. Like I tweeted out, shit's real when the emoji icons come back. Let's get it on like Donkey Kong, and we'll see where everything shakes out in another week or two. But I like to see a little more out of the fourth line this week. Maybe even see Curtis Lazar in. We don't know, again, week to week with him, whatever the hell that means, because in hockey, they never tell you unless it's a long-term injury. But even then, they'll be like, long-term upper body. I mean, did he like crack 7 ribs? Because it's been 3 months upper body injury and nagging injury. Okay, so big news this week at the Red Sox game when they beat Tampa Bay to get them out. Jack Eichel was partying with all the boys up in the Bruins box, and clearly that means he's getting traded to Boston. It can't be he's from around here, he's injured, he hates his team right now. It can't be he's just drinking some drinks with the boys up in the box because he's hanging out with the other hockey players. No, I'm just kidding. Right? I just had to bring it up because every week it's an Eichel thing, and it was funny to see him up, but everyone's like, clearly he's getting traded to Boston now. Like, or he's home getting evaluated by medical people or something, and the boys were like, hey, you can come to the game? Yeah, let's do it. I think most of the team was actually there. It must have been part of their team bonding was, hey, man, this is what we do in this town. We got to go to the Red Sox game because they're about to take out Tampa Bay. Have them with all their Red Sox jerseys and your name on it. It's like a rite of passage to the people in the city. They've been hanging around there a lot, but I just thought I'd bring that up as a funny because really that's how this town works. Oh my God, Jack Eichel was in Boston as if he didn't grow up a half hour from the city or whatever.
It was the same thing when he was doing the captain's practices and he was skating at Warrior. It was like, everybody was freaking out about that. I'm like, what?
Or in the summer, like just the cast of characters that came. It's like Torrey Krug's there. Yeah, it was so awesome to see him hang out with his friends, but it's just because he's home in Boston for a little bit this summer and he's going to hang out with his friends, and they're professional athletes, so they want to get their legs under them and keep themselves at least from falling totally off a cliff when it comes to pass. All right. So Behind the Bees Season 9 premiered this week. Did you get to see that? If you do not watch Behind the Bees, I don't know why. You must not be a Bruins fan. Google that and watch it.
I didn't watch it.
No, but you will watch it. I know
because it's on demand.
I just meant generally anybody who does not watch it. I watch it on the internet myself. I just say new episode Behind the Bees if I miss it. But if for some reason you're not watching that show, you really should. It's fun to see them behind the scenes and hear them mic'd up at games, things like that. And 9 seasons, man, that's a long time. It goes fast, but and I love it because Dennis Leary narrates it, and I just love Dennis Leary.
Now, wasn't it the first year of Behind the Bee that they actually went in and provided film of the Sagan trade and how they were talking about moving him and so on? Yeah, I think so too. I could be wrong, but it would be the first time.
Because they didn't have it that first year. Like, that's why they did that special Behind the Bees, because it hadn't started when they won the Cup. I think it was the next year, the year after or whatever, where you start. And it is interesting to see the behind the scenes. Like, I think that's interesting. But, I forgot to bring it up, but everyone go buy Pasta's Pasta. Again, support a good cause, the Jimmy Fund, which is a huge thing around here. And also to benefit underprivileged kids in Pasta's native Czech Republic. I got myself like 10 boxes at this point because I love penne pasta and I will eat it. And also I love pasta. So I think they should do a whole line. Like I'd love to see like the Nick Foligno linguine or noodles or the, Patrice Bergeron angel hair pasta because he's after all the Saints, that would be fun. Let's do a whole thing and support the Jimmy Fund and different things. But just a suggestion, by the way, it's not trademarked, so feel free to, if you're listening to this, any executive from Stop and Shop, make that happen. I'm just kidding. It would be fun, I think. Like the Marshawn macaroni, like it'd be like a whole thing. All right. On kind of a sadder note, like the Jimmy Hayes thing keeps getting sadder. We don't have to like really get into it. I did want to mention the boys all wore stickers with the shamrock that just said Jimmy with the 11 on it opening night. But there are rumored substances that may have been in his system that were in his system. I mean, let's say that's what it was, but we don't have to get into it. But just, again, if you know people who have, it doesn't take a lot and it doesn't take a long time. Like, addictions and like even just using prescriptions and stuff like that, it's a weird thing, so unfortunately when someone really young dies, you kind of assume something like that may be involved, and it's proved, but still, thoughts to all his family, his extended family, but like just him himself, like it sucks that if there was a problem and it wasn't kind of a short-term thing that just went totally awry, which can happen, too, like not everyone has a dependency, but that being said, it really makes it a lot more sad if he indeed was struggling and for whatever reason, there's a lot of reasons you don't get the help you need in time. So anyways, it's had to bring it up.
It is pretty sad. I really didn't want to hear that, but it's something that's becoming more and more news lately with these players from the past and how they're struggling. And yeah, I really want to give a courageous effort and a stick tap to the family, the Hayes family, for coming out like that. The wife and the father and the Hayes family, just by saying that they don't want to see what happened to Jim to somebody else. Mm-hmm. They want to move the word forward that get help. If you need it, reach out, talk to somebody. There's always means of healthier days, whether it be physically or mentally out there, and people need to reach out and get that help. So I really want to say that, like I said, stick taps to them for doing that. But it is unfortunate. It's just I hate to say it, but sometimes, these days, with no matter what happens, it's something that you think of first, and I hate doing that, but I wouldn't. Listen, let's put it this way: 20 years ago, I wouldn't have thought that. Mm-hmm. Today, absolutely, just by the way things are going on.
Well, it's our society now. It's not. I mean, it's from top to bottom, whether you are a successful athlete who is well-loved in your community, in your world, in your circles, or you're, the parent that's working whatever. Everyone has their struggles, and we kind of have a society where we very easily go to coping mechanisms, right? Using drugs or drinking too much, accident, and like, but I think you made an excellent point when you brought up, like, part of the problem is still, it's like a stigma thing, right? Like when we were kids, like if you saw a heroin addict, you'd be like, oh my God, like that was like the dirtiest of low like thing. But in the world we live in now, like heroin isn't for people who are on their last like worst place. It's a place that many even functioning people on some level can get into things. I mean, that wasn't what in Jimmy's case, but I'm just making a comparison for drugs. Like just our society, we struggle with, over prescriptions and access and things like that. Just, certainly not. I wasn't saying that's what Jimmy was doing, but just like, it's just the culture and the mindset, and even our society, like the access to different drugs or unhealthy coping ways. And it's good they're talking about it because that's also still part of the stigma. It's like mental health, right? Like it's not norm. It's okay to be not normal, right? Everyone says that because it does. It's more common than anybody wants to talk about, but part of getting people help is talking about it and making not being okay actually being a thing, so people will talk about it. Same thing with addictions and, even like Evander Kane's gambling problem and shit that's making him spiral. Like, but it is sad. Like, it just shows you, like you can be well loved and well supported and have a, whatever. And hopefully it can be an inspiration to help, like they said, stop it from happening to somebody else. And that's all you can hope, and that's use the bad for something good. That's that. So I don't want to. It makes me sad. I know. Player safety isn't joking around. They're handing out fines and suspensions like they actually are paid to enforce the rules of the NHL. That was just a general comment. What do you think? I don't know how long it'll last, but they're not fucking around, dude.
That's what I'm saying, Heather. It's like this is probably going to go on for like a month or two, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, are you going to clamp all this stuff down when the playoffs come around, where you traditionally let all that shit go? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's because they put their new like cross-checking and this and that in place. But it's like I seem to be getting tweets from them a couple times a day, like, whoa, they don't give out this many penalties and fines in like a whole season or 5, but they seem to be really trying to be the sheriffs in town, quote unquote, this year. So the AHL had their first ever female referee, the first of 10 ladies who are going to hit the ice. Katie, shout out to you, the AHL, for we talked about there is a referee shortage, so it's great to see competent referees of whichever agenda has the knowledge and the know-how and the drive. This is a different level, obviously, but coaches all, it's like having refs around that can train the next generation to come in and for them. And she's got a lot of experience, like in international, reffing, things like that too. So, but awesome, pretty awesome. And there's actually 10 female referees in the AHL this year. So good on the AHL, because that's more than that's in the NHL right now.
Yeah, and I heard on the awesome Causeway Kings hockey podcast, you can hear that program on the blackandgoldhockey.com podcast network. They mentioned that the person you were talking about is also a local person too. That is an American Hockey League referee right now. So shout out to the barrier crossings of allowing women to get more involved in officiating and so on, and I think it's just going to be a solid step forward for everybody. And it's not only a you can play type of motto anymore. Now it's you can be involved, and I like that. I like that a lot. So it just opens up a lot more doors for everybody to participate. So.
Well, not just participate, but pass the hockey knowledge in the right way and down. And like you said, that barrier coming down, that's a thing. It's like, that's real access. That's when because it goes to like the idea of like, a cop or a policeman even. Obviously a cop, but like a fire, like who cares as long as you have the most qualified people for the job? And it's nice to see it moving in that direction. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a big statement to say, oh, look at us, we let female refs in. They're like, hey, look at these really qualified officials that we need and glad to have you, so. And the longer that happens, and again, that'll inspire. And you know what? There'll be a little girl out there that said, oh, well, maybe you for some reason can't be a hockey player anymore or never were, but you love hockey, you got the knowledge, you can be out there and, you can still learn to be, and just, oh, wow, look, I've never seen a female ref before. That's pretty awesome, and I don't know. Just for me, that's the thing. And good on the AHL for definitely giving the avenue to make this happen. All right, so congratulations, Katie, trendsetter. All right, the Columbus Blue Jackets honored Mattis, who passed away on July 4th in the fire accident. They had his number 80 on the ice. They had it set up, his locker set up, which made me almost cry when I saw they tweeted that picture. But that was probably a very hard day for the members of that organization, and that was real class act. So I just thought I'd mention that too. That was just really sad, so I thought I'd mention that. But now let's talk about something fun as we start going through our last few things as we start wrapping up today's podcast. But it was a fun fact that 721 players in the NHL, 22 different birth countries on the opening night rosters, approved by the league, when they had to put their teams in last Monday and but Canada has still is beating the band on that with 310 players, the USA 190, Sweden with 71, Finland with 40, 37 for Russia, and 26 for the Czech Republic, and then onward and all forth. But there's people from Kazakhstan, people from Uzbekistan, there's someone from the UK. Like, what a diverse community it is. And I actually was surprised to see Russia so low on the list of players. Like, Sweden and Finland have been kicking their butt, I guess, with the recruiting into the NHL in the last decade or two. So I just wanted to mention that. Any thoughts on that?
No.
Just there. Big shock. Canada has most of the players. Whatever.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whatever. So I guess just the last big thing that I had on the agenda as we wrap up, I mean, the bulk of this was really about Charlie Mack getting re-signed and, the big opening weekend. But how do we like hockey on ESPN and TNT? I really had the chills when they started the hockey intro for ESPN. You know what I mean? It's been a long time, and just that song, just like, it's a masterpiece. It's like a movie soundtrack or something to your life. And they showed like a nice video of it, like how it came to be, how it went away, now it's back, and I thought that was pretty awesome. I know some people have been bitching about some of the coverage on each side. I thought TNT was really fun with seeing Wayne Gretzky. Like, I don't know, like, hockey dudes are just so proper, and like basketball guys are just more like, let's party, guy, let's go, like, make it fun. So I don't know, any thoughts or reflections on the first week of coverage by TNT and ESPN?
Not really, but if there's any folks out there that aren't happy with it, I want to like give these opportunities to these networks to like put their product out there, but also be criticized, but also listen to the criticism and be better. You know what I'm saying? So it's new, it's a return, but it's still new. But let's work the quinks out before you're raking anybody over the coals, I say. But
yeah, I think that there were some cool camera angles. I kind of liked it being like level with the, like there were some shots that were kind of level across, which is fun. Kind of like you're sitting in the stands as opposed to it's always like way up here or in the there. I did think there were some things with that, but I think that, it's a new opportunity. It's a new opportunity for marketing. It's a new opportunity for a larger audience. Because if you have most people, if they have a basic cable package, get up at least through ESPN and TNT. You know what I mean? So
yep.
Let's see what they can do with it. But overall, I thought it was good. I like the people that they have on each side, representing hockey people. But I think NBC didn't always listen. Do you know what I mean? They did a lot of good things over their tenure. But there were some things like some of the analysts or like people between the benches. I don't want to call anyone out by name, but you know what I mean? Like, yep. We've all had our favorites, but there were also a lot of people that were there just because they're hockey people. And I think that they were very conscientious of that. That being said, you know how I want to vomit every time I see Barry Melrose. I just can't not want to. I have a thing with him. I can't. But that's funny. Whatever. I thought it wasn't bad. And like you said, let's see what they do as it goes on, Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I have this week. I just want to, so Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday this week, Boston Pride open up November 6th. So make sure if you haven't put that on your calendar, make sure you put it on the calendar. And I guess for my part, before I throw it over to you for whatever you want to say is, I want you to rate and review this podcast. We try to put out a good product every week. Whether we do or we do not, please tell us so and rate and review. Share with your friends and family because let's face it, we're pretty awesome. And you're awesome if you've been hanging with us all this time and listening to us go on and on and on about these beloved Bruins. Definitely check out blackandgoldhockey.com with all the great writers. We got new writers coming in. Definitely, I'm into the podcast. I'm a podcast junkie, and lucky for us, we've got 12 right on our own network. This awesome podcast, but you're obviously following that right now if you're on there. Yeah. We got Dump and Change and the Short Shift and the Puck Lines podcast, the Lindros Hockey podcast, Don't Poke the Pod podcast, Holtz on Hockey, Hub of Hockey podcast, respectively, the Beehive, Causeway Kings, new one, Third Line Grinders, and Mark's Remember the Maples as he continues his journey when he gets a chance to bring the history of the beloved Amesbury Maples to the ears.
Also, a new podcast on the network, the B&G network, coming through. It's going to be just a half-hour program about the Providence Bruins and what they're doing this year. So expect that coming out sometime this week, hopefully. So that'll be 13. We're growing. We're always looking for more writers. We're looking for more podcasters. So if you're interested, please send an email to Black and Gold Productions LLC at gmail.com. Like I said, just if you're creative in digital content in any manner, any form, or any means, whatever you want to call it, please get in touch. I mean, reach out and say, hey, would this interest you? And who knows, we might add you onto the team. We're approaching 30 writers, but with the podcast network and everybody on the family over there, we're like 50 strong. It's crazy. It's crazy how much this whole thing is built. And if you want to be a part of it, you're welcome to just reach out and see if you can lend us a hand and some content, and we'll see what's going on from there.
We're a motley crew, but if you don't like it, join us on this side, on the Black and Gold side.
And the really good things about it is we're credentialed in the American Hockey League. We're credentialed through the Boston Pride. We're credentialed in the East Coast Hockey League with the Maine Mariners. So if you want to get opportunities as a media member, this is a great place. It's a great platform to come and join and either learn something about digital content, or if you're already going to school for it, this is and you're paying outrageous college freaking tuitions. This is a great platform because it's free for you, and it opens doors for, if you happen to be in journalism, it opens doors for a sports guy that wants to be a sports reporter to come on here for free. Doesn't have to pay anything, but if you want to put the grind in, you want to work, you're welcome.
Speaking of that, shout out Patrick Donnelly published his first NHL.com
very good
article.
piece.
Saw it. Love you. Hearts.
Very good piece.
Patrick and many more.
Yes.
To
Patrick,
that. So.
Patrick was a longtime member of blackandgoldhockey.com, grinding through college, still in college. And he now has a job as a senior at Boston University with NHL.com as a Boston Bruins correspondent. But more importantly, I say it more importantly because I love patting myself on the back about this. But he was with us at B&G for a long time, and I'm so proud of him. It's like a big Papa moment.
Yeah, awesome stuff. All right, what do you think? Patreon, there's a big winner, Jerry Cheevers.
Yes, we do have. We're going to do our Patreon right now, and like I've been pumping out over the past couple of weeks, we do have a jersey to give away today, but we also have to give away a weekly prize. So the weekly prize is going to go to our friend out in Colorado, Ashley Loisel. She gets I think it's going to be a signed puck for her this week. So good for her. I think she won one a couple months ago. I think it was the Rick Middleton one. So congratulations, Ashley. Thank you for your $3 contribution every week. We truly appreciate that. You only had to do $1, but guess what? You're cool enough. You put in $3. But the jersey winner this week and this month, this Jerry Cheevers Handside Hall of Fame, fully authenticated, is going to John Gillott. Congratulations, John. He's been dying to get a jersey after all these months of supporting us, saying, damn, I missed out on this one. Damn, I missed out on that one. But now guess what, sir? You own one. So thank you.
You're the winner.
Thank you for your contributions, and I forgot to put this up, but if folks do want to get involved in the weekly Boston Bruins-related giveaways, whether it be a puck, a shirt, some B&G merch you can conveniently buy at blackandgoldhockey.com/shop, or a signed puck, anything. We do give away a prize every week, but we give away a jersey every month. And if you donate $1, I'm pointing at that dollar right there, that single dollar. That's it. Just $1 to get involved. You can win all this fantastic stuff. So please go to patreon.com/blackandgoldhockeypodcast and help us out. What we do is we take half of your dollar. Just for example, we take 50 cents of your dollar to pay our bills here. You guys help us out. And in turn, we want to thank you for that. And we take your other half of the 50 cents and we roll it right into giveaways. That's it. It's like a win-win situation for everybody here. It helps us out. It helps you out. You guys get to dress up your fan cave your bedroom or whatever, but you also get some freaking really cool merch to go out and spread the cheer of hockey podcasting. So
else to spread the cheer of hockey podcasting is also going and supporting the shows by buying the merch.
Yes, absolutely. And I bought, and actually I have merch right now that I'm going to take a picture of later on that came today, but it is from many members of our podcast network. That's a part of the, I haven't opened this up yet. I don't really have time, but this is the Causeway Kings shirt, which I'm proud to buy. Got the Puck Lines podcast shirt that I'm proud to own. And also, it's not shown here, but it's the Dump and Change hockey podcast. Yes. So pumped about that. But I'm going to be buying some more because some more links have been provided from our friend Andrew over at the Puck Lines podcast. So I'm going to support those guys and everything else. So I think that's it, Heather. What do you think?
I think that's it. It's a wrap. First week of hockey. Let's get it on, baby. From here on out.
That was a lot of fun. I apologize to our sponsor, betonline.ag, for a day late, but I was traveling all weekend covering the Providence Bruins, so we had to do it a day later. So, Heather, thank you very much for working with the schedule. Truly appreciate that. And
thank you for yesterday. We don't have to get into it, but I appreciate, as always, my friends' support and loves from above.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. So thank you so much for everybody's support, the sharing, the retweets, the talking, the online chats, the really good hockey talk. We truly appreciate that. We want to see more. We want to get more involved with you folks. So if you want to write, you want to do anything like that, you want to provide some contacts or possibly a topic, please go to Black and Gold Productions LLC at gmail.com and send us some ideas. So that being said, this is Heather Ingerson. I'm Mark Allred. We will talk to you next week. We will have at least a couple more games to talk about and some other stuff. Hopefully some good stuff, good positive stuff that we're leading the division and we're going to win the Stanley Cup. No,
it's our big 250. So
yes, it is. Episode 250 of this podcast since January of 2016. So we're doing episode 250, and I'm so excited about next week. We might even do a surprise roundtable. We talked about it. We're kind of hinting around doing something, but it possibly could have some of our favorites on this program. So that'd be freaking cool as hell. So
also, being said, I'll definitely be drinking. So.
Yeah, me too. What a shocker, right? All right, everybody, stay safe, be healthy. Go Bruins. Let's do it. We're here. The 2021-22 season has officially kicked off for the Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Please support the shows. Please support the website. Please buy the merch. Do what you can. We truly appreciate it.
You do you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks again for listening to and supporting Black and Gold Hockey Podcast. Please share the show with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to and leave a 5-star rating for the show on your favorite podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Between shows, help us keep the Bruins talk going by visiting our website, blackandgoldhockey.com, by sending an email to blackandgoldhockeyblog@gmail.com, and by following the show on Twitter @blackandgoldpod.
Peace out.